Hello guys, welcome back to my video. Today we're back into another Unreal Engine survival tutorial. This episode we are going to be making the stamina and sprinting system. So that means that when you sprint, there is a progress bar that depletes slowly, which determines how tired the player is. Okay, let's make sprinting. In order to make sprinting, first you need to go to the project settings and go all the way to input. Add an action mapping over here and call it sprint, and as you click here, select the key value. You click it and press shift. This will automatically choose the button you just pressed. Instead of like searching left shift for sprinting, you can just click this and press the shift button. Then in your first person example map here, click on the first person character and edit here. Then what you're gonna do is type sprint. This is the sprint thing is, or whatever your action mapping is called, action input is called. I called it sprint, so I type sprint. So now here, as you can see, before we do all of the sprinting stuff, we need to make the stamina. I just made this ready for now. I'm gonna make this comment, making this called sprinting. We'll add stuff to it later. For now, we create two variables. The first one is current stamina, and the second one is max stamina. Both of them should be floats. Both default values should be 100 over here, and this 200. Both of them should be 100. Compile and save. Then you create another variable called is sprinting. This will be a boolean. We compile it again. As you can see here, and the action sprint over here, when you press the button you are sprinting. If you are not, then false, like that. We need now to create a progress bar in the UI widget. So you can see here, I'm gonna just duplicate those. You can make any progress bar style as you like. I mean, this, you can make it any style you like. This is your game after all. Put this over here and move it just so that it will be aligned perfectly, like this. Now let's change the color. I mean, the thirst bar is the same color here. We need to change this to I don't know what to call it. ST for stamina, I don't know. Then we make it look darker, or actually no, we instead you can choose whatever color you like. I'm gonna do this for all of them. So this is for the stamina. Here it's like a blue but darker. Now we made the stamina part. As you can see in the percentage here, all numbers set to 0.5 here. We need to change it through this area we made before, long time ago. We made this for the health, the hunger, and max thirst. Now let's make the same thing but for the stamina. So we just copy this entire thing except the current and max thirst. Copy and paste it right here. Oops, like that. Then what you're gonna do is go over here, make a reroute node, and attach this to delta time. This is the delta time from the event tick. And the last thing you do here is do current stamina at the top divided by the max stamina. You do get, don't do set because that will break stuff. Now we're done with this part. We just now we need to set this by default. As you can see here, we made this long before. Each one is set in the event construct, which basically means the beginning. So I copy this this and this. Actually, also this too. Copy that, paste it over here. Now we're gonna attach those directly. This will set the default so that when you first start the game, you won't see the percent at 0.5, those in the middle, then slowly go to the actual value. Instead, it will be just gonna be instant. So when you compile and save, it sets to here. It sets to 0.5 or something, because I have forgotten to change the thirst bar. As you can see here, the thirst bar here is not the stamina, and see here, this is thirst bar underscore 1. I'm gonna change this to stamina bar, like that, and drag the stamina bar over the thirst bar. Do not put it on this one, the one that says current and max stamina. Same goes here. Take the stamina bar and put it over here. Don't get confused with the actual thirst bar over here. Just do with the one that we just created. Now when we play, all of them are set to max at 1 or 100. Now we create a custom event in the first person character, and we call this update stamina, which basically means this part here we're gonna add like a way to control the stamina. So if you're sprinting, it decreases. If you're not sprinting, it increases. In order to check if you're sprinting or not, we don't do just this, because this does not make sense. So if you this will be true only when we press shift. So instead, we'll do this. Make a branch, of course, like as usual. Actually, we don't need that. We actually don't need that. Instead, we do set current stamina here, like that. Set current stamina. We make a clamp so that it won't go beyond or below our range. The max actually should be this max stamina, and the value, leave the minimum as 0, because its range is between 0 and 100. 100 is the max stamina over here. Now we do plus. You will see what I mean right now. The current stamina will be directly over here. You won't do +1. This is wrong. Instead, I will show you now what to do. We drag from this and type in select. Select is basically like a branch or a branch for values. Instead of doing it over here as a branch and have two sides, one increase, one decrease, instead we directly connect it over here, and we do the boolean over here instead of in the execution over there. So we do get sprinting. Don't attach it immediately. That's wrong. We do and get the character movement over here from the components, and get velocity. Not this one. This one all the way at the bottom. We drag this a bit behind, and we do vector length. So this basically gets the speed of the player, this entire thing. But of course, in Unreal Engine, the speed will be output as in centimeter per second, not meter per second. So we do here, we check if the speed is greater than, like, I don't know, 5. I leave it as 5 instead of 0, because just in case if something is pushing the player. We do it 10 actually. So we do this. If the player is sprinting, meaning it's holding shift, and his speed is greater than 10 centimeters per second, it should decrease. So we do here, we don't type it directly. Instead we do this. We do multiply, yes, float times float, and we need to get the delta time. So we attach this here. This will be the delta time. We type in delta time, because we're gonna put this in tick events over here, as we usually make. since I haven't compiled, this will show up instead. This will cause an error if you compile. Delete this, compile, and do update stamina. Now it shows delta time. So now you take this and attach it all the way over here. Then now copy paste this multiplication thing and attach this the same way over the false. Now here I multiplied it with the delta time so that it decreases constantly, but not dependent on the frame. So if there is lag, it won't go down slowly, and if there is high frame rate, it won't go down fast. So it stabilizes things. Here is the speed of the increasing. Here is when you regenerate the stamina, and here's where you deplete the stamina when you're sprinting. So here I'm gonna type in -1, no, not -1, +1, and here's -1. So -1 is when you deplete. We will see the speed right now. As you can see here, if I do this, you will see it's doing like 1 per second over here. It's really slow. Let's increase this to 10 and -10 over here, like that. We do see here. If I stop, it increases. Right now it's not sprinting at all. The actual player is not sprinting. It's just the boolean part and the stamina part. As you can see here, I'm not sprinting right now. See, if when I walk, it's just the same thing without sprinting. So let me make the actual sprinting up here. We do this, not like this. We go here and drag out the character movement so that we can change the actual player speed. You set max walk speed. We do this and give it, I don't know, 1000. So this is like 10 meters per second, because we need to type this in centimeter for some reason instead of meters. Let me see what's the default player speed. Max walk speed, it's 600. So we copy paste this, attach everything, and don't forget to connect this target or it will get error. And put the default. As you can see in the character movement, the default was 600. So if you want to change this default, if you have like the default 300, you type in 300 like that. If you want to change it, change both of them, because the initial speed will be different. This is basically the initial speed, and here is the speed when you sprint and unsprint. And now when I play like this, see, I'm walking slowly. Now I press shift, I move really fast, and the stamina is reducing, going down. As you can see, once it depletes, I still move fast. This is not supposed to happen. What we do now is in here, in the update stamina, we move this back. Over here, we make something really important here. We make a branch, and now we use a branch. After adding a branch, we check if stamina is less or equal to 0. If it's less than that, we don't allow the sprinting. Sprinting will be false. Let me copy this. Character movement, we copy. We set this to the default, like that. Let me increase the speed of the depletion. Make it like 20. -20. Now as I sprint, it will force me to stop. See here, stop. I have to let go and sprint again. Again, stopped. See, won't let me sprint more. Now as you can see here, if you want to change the default speed, it's gonna be annoying. As you can see here, we need to change it over here in the update stamina. Then we need to change it over here, and then we need to change it over here. That's a big problem. Instead, what we are going to do is make a new variable. We call this default walk speed, like that, and make it into a float. You remove this, compile so that it shows here. The default is 600, for example, and put this here directly. like that. We need to add it for both of them. And as you can see, in the update stamina, we added the default walk speed, and here's 600. Also here we added. Now we need to change the one and the character movement too, because now we have to change two things, but now I'm gonna reduce it to only one thing to change. So you see, as you can see here in the begin play, we same way as what we did in the get player spawn point. We add this over here and we set the default walk speed to the character movement. Or actually, no. By the opposite direction. It's wrong. I did it the wrong way. Max walk speed. The max walk speed, we need to set it to. We need to set the max walk speed to the default walk speed over here. The new variable we created. This will set the default walk speed. Default walk, or actually, wait. Sets the default walk speed. Now when we play, we only need to change this. So instead of changing like three variables, three numbers, now we can only change this. For example, I want to make it the default walk speed is 100. So when I play, the speed automatically changes to 100, and when I sprint, the actual normal sprinting speed. If I stop, same speed. It won't change. Let me set it to 600. I think that's the best number. And now, as you can see, this won't affect the hunger. We need it so that when you sprint, hunger and thirst depletes faster, because it's a survival game, you know. Let me make this a comment first. Make this updates the stamina and sprinting values. There is a problem over here. We need to make sure that the player is not dead. Is player not dead? Like that. Is player not dead? Then we do it from false, so that we cannot sprint while we are dead. It's way better like that. As you can see, the lower thirst over time here, it sets to minus 0.002, whatever it's called. We need to make a. Let me copy this. You need to copy that. I'm just gonna store it over here. Then we do select like that, and basically just copy this entire part. Or actually, let me collapse this to a function better. Collapse to a function and call this is player sprinting. Right now it has this execute nodes. We don't need that, so just make it pure. Now as you can see here, we do this is player sprinting, and if it's let me do this, copy this into false. This is the default reducing range speed. And if the player is sprinting, let me make it so that it moves faster, like that. Now we have this. Now we need to go to the reduce hunger if not dead, like that. We go here and do the same thing. We do select, this one minus 0.001. We do select here, make a boolean, copy that as player sprinting, the function we just made over here. When the player is not sprinting, it reduces by this much. This is what it was before. And if the player is sprinting, we do this minus 0.2. It basically doubles the speed. Now we check over here. As you can see, when I run, the thirst, as you can see, the thirst depletes much faster. Now it moves slowly, normally. See? As you can see, the thirst moved really quickly down. If I sprint now around, you won't notice that very much because the value is so small. I'm gonna like remove a 0 for all of them, so that we can it becomes more obvious that it's different. Like this, remove the 0. We're gonna return it from before. As you can see, this is how fast it goes down, and if I sprint, it moves a lot faster. I'm gonna return those values from what it was before. So basically that's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.